But what is Durga Puja, how it is being celebrated, I just wanted to show you a video. You just see the video, and if it is not, visible or audible, just let me know, right? Okay.
Okay, no problem, ma'am. No problem.
Is it okay? Okay, I'm just putting it to one minute. Hmm. Is it
Festival
visible?
in all of Asia to receive such an
Yes,
honor.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
India, from the Prime
Listen,
Minister
huh?
to the Chief Minister of Bengal.
Okay.
Reactions are pouring in from all sides of the political spectrum. Here's a report.
It celebrates feminine divinity. It marks the victory of good over evil. It has now brought glory to the country. The festival of Durga Puja in Kolkata has been bestowed with an international honor. It has been accorded heritage status by the UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It has inscribed Durga Puja as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity, meaning it is a non-physical intellectual token of India's rich culture, a culture which should be safeguarded through global recognition. It is a proud moment for the state of West Bengal and a red letter moment for all Indians, because this is the first festival in all of Asia to get such a recognition from a global body. The decision was taken during the 16th session of UNESCO's Intergovernmental Committee. The committee commended Kolkata's Durga Puja for its initiatives in involving marginalized groups, also for celebrating the spirit of womanhood. India is elated with the honor. Reactions are pouring in online. The Prime Minister has hailed it as a matter of great pride and joy, calling Kolkata's Durga Puja an experience everyone must have. The Chief Minister of West Bengal says she is beaming with joy. She says the Durga Puja is not just a festival but an emotion. India's Ministry of Culture is overjoyed as well. It has called the festival a confluence of India's art, craft, and rich culture. It certainly is. And with UNESCO's honor, it will only grow in prominence. A UNESCO tag to the festival means global recognition, which in return could lead to a revamp of infrastructure, civic amenities, and working conditions for all artists and organizers involved in setting up those magnanimous Durga pandals each year. So far, UNESCO's list of intangible heritage has a total of 492 elements. Out of this, 14 are from India. This includes Kutiyattam, a form of Sanskrit theatre practiced in the state of Kerala, Vedic chanting, an ancient Hindu tradition of reciting Vedic literature, Ram Leela, a traditional performance of the Hindu epic Ramayana, Raman, a religious festival in the state of Uttarakhand, marked with the recitation of various local legends, the Chow dance from eastern India, a traditional dance form that enacts episodes from Mahabharata and Ramayana, the Kalbelia folk songs and dances of Rajasthan, performed primarily by women who replicate the movements of a serpent as men accompany them with a percussion instrument, the Mudiyetu from Kerala, a ritual dance form based on a battle between goddess Kali and the demon Darika, the Buddhist chanting of Ladakh, a recitation of sacred Buddhist texts performed in monasteries and villages in Ladakh, Sankirtana, an annual ritual from the state of Manipur which celebrates the life of the Vaishnava people. In 2014, the craft of Thateras from Punjab made it to the list. It is a traditional technique of making brass and copper utensils in Punjab. In 2017, the festival, celebrated as New Year by the Parsi community of India, was also included in UNESCO's list, as was the practice of yoga and Kumbh Mela, the largest congregation of pilgrims on the entire planet. Bureau Report, Beyond World is One.
WeOn is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
So, did you enjoy the video? Could you understand something?
Yes, ma'am. It is really impressive.
I actually, this is Durga Puja. I'll show one more video. What is Durga Puja is all about? They gave us just a glimpse because last year only it was given the status. Year in 2023, 2022, it was given the status of it was included in the list of UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage. Okay, so see how art, craft, culture, tradition that has been displayed. Another video I just show you like what is like right now. So tomorrow is basically we are having a holiday. I stay in Orissa, I told you, but now I have come to my hometown West Bengal to celebrate this puja. So I thought you are undergoing your classes, in such a time where our country is celebrating this festival. So you should have an idea because your classes and all, so much matches with tourism and all. So that is the reason I wanted to show you. I hope you understood. Okay,
Yes,
little
ma'am.
bit.
And thank you for sharing.
Okay, and one. Okay, I'll just show you one more video about Durga Puja. Just be online.
Okay, okay.
Hmm. এটা হচ্ছে না তো দেখো। This is how. Okay.
Introducing the English test designed for you. Convenient, fast, affordable, and trusted by top universities around the world. Experience a better way to certify your English with the Duolingo.
Hmm. It's visible, no? Audible?
Yes, ma'am. It's audible. It stopped.
Yes, yes. I'll just come. Intangible cultural heritage. Huh?
Durga Puja marks the annual autumnal worship in Bengal of the Hindu mother goddess Durga. The season of the goddess, Devi Paksh, begins with the inaugural day of Mahalaya. On this day, the eyes are painted onto the clay images to bring the goddess to life. Durga appears in her divine incarnation as Mahishasur Mardini, created by the gods to kill the evil buffalo demon Mahishasur. This image of the martial goddess is curiously coupled in Bengal with Durga's image as divine mother and daughter, who descends from her heavenly home to her parents' home on earth, along with her four children, her sons Ganesh and Kartik, and the daughters Lakshmi and Saraswati. It is in the city of Kolkata that the Durga Puja has taken on its most mammoth scale, fervor, and fanfare. The images of Durga and her family are carefully sculpted over months in the workshops of the clay modelers. The oldest and biggest hub in Kolkata is at Kumartuli. There is extraordinary skill involved in this hereditary craft. The straw stuffed molds of the goddess's anatomy are layered by workers with alluvial clay, which comes from the river Ganga. It is in these small artisanal workshops that the image comes to life, limb by limb, and magically becomes a living goddess. Made entirely of unfired clay, at the end of the festival, the images will return to the water from which they came. Well before the deities emerge from the workshops in their full grandeur, large bamboo scaffoldings fill the streets and parks of the city of Kolkata. Cladded with a variety of material, these spectacular architectural structures, locally called pandal, will serve as the temporary temples of the goddess. The ceremonial worship will begin on Shoshti, the sixth day after Mahalayam, and be carried through over the next 4 days, Shoptami, Ashtami, Navami, and Dashami. The most important historical dimension of the festival lay in its transition from the courtyards of elite homes to the neighborhoods and open public spaces of the city. These community pujas, or Sharbojonin pujas, around 4,500, which are organized just in the city of Kolkata and its environs, constitute the most effervescent phase of the festival. Durga Puja has now become a vast street festival, a time of mass touring and celebrations, a site of an enormous exhibition of public art on a scale that has few parallels in any other festival of the world.
দুর্গাপূজা মানে কি আমরা বাড়িতে বসে থাকবো সেটা আমরা ভাবতেই পারি না। যেভাবে হোক মানে আনন্দ মানুষ কাজের চাপে একটু সময় হলে দেখবে ভিড় ঠেলেও ঠাকুর দেখবো।
With the active engagement of art college trained artists, many of these displays have taken on the local name of theme pujas and have produced a new genre of contemporary festival art around the individual pujas. Divides of class, caste, religion, and ethnicities get collapsed in this crowd of puja spectators.
बहुत अच्छा लगा लाइब्रेरी टाइप में बहुत अच्छा लगा ये बुक भी बहुत रियल थे बहुत सुंदर
The new forms of the theme pujas help cultivate mass tastes on the art, architecture, and craft traditions of India and the world.
জায়গা তৈরি ছিল যেখানে আমাদের কৃষ্টি সংস্কৃতি বিভিন্ন রকম ফোক আর্ট ফর্ম যেগুলো দুর্গাপুজোর সাথে হঠাৎ করে আসা শুরু হয় তারপরে শিক্ষিত শিল্পীরা ইনভলভ হয় হওয়ার ফলে যেটা হয় যে এটা একটা প্র্যাকটিসের ক্ষেত্র হতে থাকে একটা ধারাবাহিকতা শুরু হয় খুব কমন মানুষের সাথে শিল্পের একটা এই 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 ব্রিজটা তৈরি হয় পুজোর থেকে
এটাকে
The sound of dhak, traditional Bengali drumming, and the aarti, veneration of the goddess, is integral to the ritualistic and sensory ambience of the festival. Both big and small amounts of money are earned each festival season by a wide range of groups, such as the Dhakis, a community of rural drums. The festival is the mainstay for a range of small-scale livelihoods and trades. Pandal makers, light makers, traveling vendors, ornament makers for the idols, to varieties of folk artists and craftsmen for whom Durga Puja stands as a seasonal lifeline. The pujas generate a frenzy of mass consumption, a huge turnover for all types of goods and manufacturers, and the festival has become increasingly embroiled in the mix of publicity and advertising. The autumnal worship of the goddess in this present form took off on a grand scale over the 18th and 19th centuries in colonial Calcutta, in the grand mansions of the landed and merchant elites. These traditional, once wealthy family pujas today count as heritage pujas.
দুর্গা পূজা হচ্ছে বলবো আমাদের কাছে ইমোশন আমাদের কাছে ওয়ার্শিপ অফ গডেস দুর্গা আমাদের কাছে স্পিরিচুয়ালিটি অ্যান্ড সব থেকে বড় অল গেট টুগেদার হয় তো গোটা বছর আমরা এটার জন্য ওয়েট করি অ্যাকচুয়ালি
Durga Puja has emerged as a major exercise in governmental management of mass massive public event. The record scale of crowds each year is matched by the tireless achievement of the city authorities, police, and transport facilities in crowd management.
যে এখন পুজোতে কে কত টাকা খরচা করে কত কিছু ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করা যায় সেগুলোকে করা যায়। আমি সেক্ষেত্রে কিন্তু এটা আমার একটা প্রোটেস্ট। এখানে যেসব জিনিসগুলো ব্যবহার হচ্ছে সব ইকো ফ্রেন্ডলি, বাঁশ, মাটি, কাগজের মুখোশ, পটটাকে আমি এখানে ব্যবহার করছি একদম পটুয়ারা যেভাবে পটটাকে তৈরি করতেন আগে বাংলার উৎসবের দুর্গা যেটা ছিল সেটাকে ধরার চেষ্টা করছি।
মেয়েরা সত্যিই দশভূজা, তারা সব রকম কাজ করতে পারে, তারা 10 রকম কাজ করতে পারে, সেই জন্যই মায়ের হাতে 10টা অস্ত্র এবং মাকে এইভাবে সুতরাং মেয়েদের এম্পাওয়ারমেন্টের জন্য আমরা মনে করি
ক্রীড়া পুজোর অ্যাওয়ার্ড দেওয়া হয়েছে বঙ্গবন্ধু
আমি এখানে এবছর যেটা করছি যে টাইম, এখানে প্রত্যেকটা মোমেন্টসে মানুষকে একটা নতুন নতুন এক্সপিরিয়েন্স দিতে চাই, যে মানুষ এখানে যে মুহূর্তে থাকবে তার ভিজুয়ালসটা সাউন্ডটা পরের মুহূর্তটা থেকে আলাদা হয়ে যাবে।
দুর্গাপুজো একটা বিরাট রোল প্লে করছে, সেটা শুধু নেহাতি একটা আর্ট শব্দের মধ্যে সীমাবদ্ধ না, সামাজিক জায়গা, রাজনৈতিক জায়গা এবং অর্থনৈতিক জায়গা, মানুষের স্বীকৃতির জায়গা। কিন্তু গ্রামের মানুষ একটা মানুষ তেমন ভাবে রিকগনাইজ নয়, কিন্তু দুর্গাপুজোতে এসে একটা ম্যাসিভ স্কেলে যখন সে ইনক্লুড করছে, নিজেকে সে যুক্ত করছে, সেখানে কিন্তু সেটা একটা রেকগনিশন পাচ্ছে।
Doshami, the last day of the festival. It's time to bid farewell to the mother goddess. Durga Puja reaches its emotional and physical climax. Nothing in this grand spectacle is made to last. The ephemeral cycle is completed. The goddess must go home, and the images must return to the river. Idle refuse cleared off the river waits to be recycled. The tableau will be routinely dismantled. Durga Puja spawns many parabolas, transitions of objects from spectacle to waste, from throwaway to reuse. The euphoria built up over months ends with the immersions. Kolkata will be back to its daily grind, but with the promise already in place. Ashche bochor abar hobe. It will happen again next year.
so did you all enjoy the video? Did you all understand something?
Yes, ma'am. It is really interesting. And I can say about this Kolkata's Durga Puja is, I think it is not just a festival; it is a testament to the
Hmm.
city's rich heritage, and it is commitment
Yes.
to preserving its tradition and embrace innovation. So, and it truly
Yes.
showcases the soul of Kolkata. I can say it's really impressive. But I
Hmm. So now it is celebrated all over the country. I just wanted to say it has this celebration has uh, this celebration has social and economic dimensions. So this is being celebrated not only in India, but it is also being celebrated across the globe. Like you'll find in watching on TV, it is celebrated in UK, it is celebrated in London, US, and all. the Indian community who are there, they are celebrating. The thing is that where you can see the art, craft, culture providing employment, generating employment, revenue, as well as it has been, last year only it has been, it has given the status and as the UNESCO cultural heritage, and it has come in the list. And the thing is that it is being celebrated for the last 10 days. I mean, tomorrow is Dashera. What is Dashami? That is the reason why you are getting a holiday. And my question now comes to you. See, for 10 days they celebrate. After that, Lord Durga is being immersed in the Ganges. That everywhere you don't have the river Ganges, but yes, they make a lake or something where they immerse the goddess. The goddess has come from it has come from the heaven to the earth with his family. Okay, so the thing is that tomorrow it will be immersed, and the thing is that is where environmental degradation takes place. Okay, but now to avoid that, the government has, they were telling you, if you might have seen, they are using eco-friendly materials to create the image of Lord Goddess Durga, and then when they immerse it, it will be recycled. So these are the few things. When I wanted to show you this, there are two reasons. One is because the celebrations, the festivals that is being going on, which has been in the UNESCO Cultural Heritage list. Second thing is how it provides to preserve the culture, heritage, art, cuisine of a particular area. Consequently, the last day, how it can prove a environmental degradation. So how it has to be seen, the Calcutta itself has more than 5,000 pujas, pandals. You can see they were built with bamboos and all. So what happened? They will dismantle everything and they'll throw here and there. Then some of them will be thrown into the garbage, not putting in proper. So what it happens? It results in environmental degradation. That should not be there. That is why I wanted to show you. First, I showed you that video, what it is. Then I showed you what is Durga Puja, and it should not now. They are earlier, they did not have this, eco-friendly materials to do the creativity and all. But now they are using the, all those eco-friendly materials to create the image of Lord Goddess, so that it does not pollute the environment. That is what it is happening. Okay, so I hope it there's some sense. I mean, you could realize, understand. You should know about the culture of India, and since I just tried to relate it, how it also affects the environmental degradation and tourism. Okay, so now we'll move to our last PPT. Wait 1 second. Is it okay, Kabiru, Ahmed,
No,
Hamza?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay.
there is one question I want to ask you.
Yes,
This
Ahmed.
Durga Puja,
Yes,
is it once in a year the celebration? And
it is.
secondly,
You.
you mentioned Durga Puja Kolkata. Was
Hmm.
it started from Kolkata or how is
Okay.
Kolkata
Oh, it
making it?
started from Kolkata. It started from Kolkata only, It started from Kolkata. Okay. So West Bengal, you can say. And slowly by slowly, it's now it's been celebrated all over the country, all over the globe where the Indian community goes, whether whether it's London or whether it's US, London, or whether it's this year they have also celebrated in, I think, Netherlands or some, first it was showing on the TV that this is the first year they are celebrating. আচ্ছা, ওই মুভিটার নাম কি যেটাতে তো রানী মুখার্জি আছে? Norway. I think they are first time celebrating in Norway or Netherlands. I have just forgotten in one of this. I think Netherlands. They are first time celebrating in Netherlands. So you understood, na? Indian community wherever they wanted to celebrate. So it first started in Kolkata, and slowly by slowly now it is being held in a very extensive large scale. Initially it was in a very small scale, but now it is being celebrated in a very large scale. Okay. So we will move to a slide. One sec. So environmental degradation and tourism. So it's a part of tourism and it may cause environmental degradation. So what we need to know, need to know how tourism can become a partner, how tourism can become a partner to skewed development processes, which changes land use patterns and contributes to displacement of people. We also need to understand with specific example of ecotourism as to how the carrying capacity of an ecosystem can be violated, and also understand the unresolved problems of ecotourism which would contribute to environmental degradation, and understand how ways can be devised to overcome these problems. Okay, so basically, mainstream planners have not attempted to critically examine the concept of development, as usually the process of tapping the resources, especially for the purpose of income generation, have become an obsession for generations of scientists as well as economists. In the current development theory, we have crossed the era of industrialization, then modernization, and appropriate technology to reach the conclusion that we have misused nature so much that we will leave nothing for the generation to come. That is very so. Today, we are all familiar with the concept of sustainable development because the word sustainable was not there. But now, today, we are very much familiar with the concept of sustainable development. That's basically an intervention which goes hand in hand with the spirit of globalization. And in development, globalization tries to view natural resources as belonging of the global community rather than a you can say a nation state or a community defined by the location or culture of a place. So in present, the development model is a free market model where consumption drives the productive system. So basically, there are only limits to this free market are issues of environment, human rights, child labor, and other such unfair trade practices. And especially in a country like India, where Indians determine uh, the priorities for development, their needs determine what to produce and what to consume. That is very important. And such impacts of development are no longer like confined to mega projects, dams, power plants, steel plants, and defense establishments. Tourism, the smokeless industry is also becoming a partner in the irrational use of land, water, and air, as well as communities, their cultural lifestyle and tradition. Okay, so this is very important. We need to conserve it. And what are the analysis of tourism impacts? We already know, but still, then we are just to recall. We need to know that following are some of the problems which can arise if the tourism planning is not properly done. So it can lead to deforestation, then it can lead to loss of species of environment, then loss of natural resources for firewood and timber, then it would result in soil erosion, coastal erosion, then degradation of land, water pollution, and garbage. These last few days, there's a lot of, so because all that in different places there were there's so huge rush everywhere you go, especially in the evening and all. You'll find huge rush. Roads are filled up, overcrowded. It's overcrowded, you can see. And there are lot of food joints and all. And the thing is, music is there in high volume, then lighting is there everywhere. So these all do affect the environment. So it may result in land degradation, water pollution, then garbage, full of garbage, then impact of the construction of roads and settlements, then migration of the poor population, and then influx of outside agencies, then attend urbanization, then attendant problem of providing water, electricity, infrastructure, etc. Then development of slum areas. India also do have lot of slum areas, then problems of social cohesion in the poorest or remote regions of the country. So, why tourism? So, one may ask why for a poor country or poor region, tourism becomes the only option that is to be developed through state subsidy via investments aid and tax exemptions. As I told you, there are many countries in the world, where their mode of survival, is through the economy of tourism. Okay, you have Maldives and so many places. You have Indonesia, you have Mauritius. Their revenue is mainly generated from tourism. So the answer is often very simplistic: to earn the foreign exchange necessary to build the nation, as we must have an export oriented economy. And the world, basically, the World Bank, along with other, you can say, organizations, the World Bank, along with other organizations, they try to encourage invisible exports like tourism, which has been pushed as a tool for the development by international agencies like this World Tourism Organization. And their argument is specially couched in the most persuasive terms, which can be known as ecotourism. So we have already discussed also. This is basically when we talk about ecotourism, all forms of there's a myth. Before that, I'd just like to say there's a myth which states that well organized nature tourism with several options for the national population can contribute to the environmental education. I'm just repeating, there's a myth which states that well organized nature tourism with several options for the national population can contribute to the environmental education. So, what is tourism? Now, all forms of tourism that are exploratory, stress experience, and have as their object appreciation and preservation of nature without destroying the natural resources are considered to be ecotourism. And especially these ecotourist destinations are located in the not in the urban areas but in the rural areas. And this term was coined by the tourism industry of Belize. That's a Central American country which is very rich in natural resources. And the forms of ecotourism can include scientific, sportive, adventurous, and passive use of nature. And what was the impact of such tourism development, especially this ecotourism, the protected and modified areas where there was an abundance, where there is plenty of wildlife, and particularly the animals like the tigers, elephants, rhinoceros. They were developed for the tourists, and accommodations, roads, transports, then you can say guides. They were initially provided with the destinations, with the sanctuaries and all. In the process of designating zones, the original community was ousted and relocated outside the notified area, and often changing its traditional occupational structure. So tourists were considered to be the more aware of conservation than the traditional inhabitants who lost their traditional rights to forest produce along with the traditional occupation and habitat. So that is how that the ecotourism came into effect. And an ecosystem basically, you can say, depends on its carrying capacity. That is very important. An ecosystem depends on its carrying capacity. So these communities, both in number and in their daily routine, they have never concentrated in some pockets or certain times of the day. Most tourists, they violate the basic principle of carrying capacity. Like infrastructure tends to follow the concentration pattern of the user. The pressure of infrastructure encourages the violation. Then there are mountain communities, there are your coastal communities and all. They are becoming increasing, and they are concerned about waste disposal and the growing need for firewood and fuel. And especially the trekkers and mountaineers, they carry in tons of supplies but do not carry out empty packaging. So litter has become one of the major, littering around, like all your wastage and garbage and all. So litter has become one of the major conversation issues that has to be done. Otherwise, there are a lot of problems there. So these are the problems and solution. The issues that remain unresolved are how many visitors to be allowed at one time. As I told you, in eco-tourist destination, the area is small. So, there should be a carrying capacity, countable. We can accommodate 100 persons for a particular period of time. So, how many visitors to be allowed at one time, and how to use control mechanisms like, hours of daylight, which are the opening. There's a timing solo, opening time, closing time, then which time to visit in the year, rainy season or flooding periods, or you should avoid during erosion, disturbance due to noise vehicles, speed, dress codes, etc. So this you should be able to implement this control mechanisms. And the need for protection of seclusion, there's always a need for protection of seclusion, natural beauty, and cultural identity. When we talk about uh, Kenya, where wildlife tourism is a very highly prized activity, but there was always the will to work for the resolution of such issues or conflicts, you can say. And the tribesmen, they were known as the local tribesmen. They are known as the Maasai. They were basically associated with the management of these sanctuaries, where safaris were frequent, lion safari, tiger safaris, that was very frequent. So they were allocated 90% of the gate revenue. Here, 19% of the gate revenue means the entry fee and all, okay, whatever revenue was earned. Well, the rest of the money was used by the country council for the development of the infrastructure. And what happened? The result of this policy was a tourism explosion, which has now become an important conservation conflict. This is just an example. So, conservation and development is very important. There has always been uncertainty and debate, over the consequences of the use of natural resources, or you can say the natural habitats. And this debates always reflect the breakdown in trust between people of the locality, that is the local community, and the government planners. The people feel powerless to influence policies, and have started opposing the very policies they once supported. Now, you need to state that without public support, conservation policies are very impossible to implement, because conservation is always seen to be in contradiction with the survival. So there are a lot of issues, lot of contradictions, conflicts between the environmentalists, the local communities, the government, the planners, the government planners, because you should always see कि without proper public support, conservation policies that are being framed by the government are is very difficult to implement, because conservation is often seen to be in the contradiction with survival. So therefore it is very much necessary to develop methodologies, develop rules, guidelines, as well as methodologies that can help to resolve the conflicts, gain the public support, which is very much necessary, and find a balance between the needs of the approach in several ways. And the most important, you can say, popular method is to impose regulations. Okay, so this you can say. Then alternatives, there is also some alternatives are also there. And these alternatives are like, a good alternative approach can be based on assessing the situation, then developing a strategy like negotiating strategy. As I told you, if they wanted to set up a infrastructure at that eco-tourist destination, they have to negotiate with the local community. They will tell, okay, we will develop this, but in lieu of that, we will provide you employment, or we'll give you some cash, when you are buying the land and such. So this is what happens. Then using, basically you need to using a mediator. Then you have to also consider the impact of change to judge its acceptability, and also define the quality to be retained. And to find a place in people-centered approach to development, we could take like steps such as make a broad view review of the issues in the area to be taken up for development, or identify the changes. Then specific quality standards has to be maintained, prescribe the zones and desired conditions in each zone. So this is all how the alternatives are to be are there mentioned. And planners have therefore developed the concept of a task force. There's a task force which has to be very successful, and especially the task force are a representative body. And however, in practice, a task force is constituted by consultants, then they have managers, researchers, with no role for citizen users. If a task force is not representative, it cannot ensure accountability, because they are accountable for that. Okay. So, so summary, like there are now green belts which are turning into wastelands. So these are the consequences of unplanned development of the past 50 years. So slowly and steadily they are trying to make a change, and people equate the quality of life with a sustainable environment where everyone needs clear air, clean air, proper drinking water, security of the people, enhanced living conditions, proper transport, proper garbage disposal. As I told you, I just gave you an example. There's a place in the north where the Himalayas are in tatters. So why it is happening? Because that was not properly organized. Not communities have set up, but habitats are there, but not properly designed. So that is where proper planning is very much required. So another, there are some acts, and you can say there are some laws where we need to be these legal frameworks and all. So we should be follow these regulations, guidelines, and should be abide by this laws. There is a framework, and there is always a gap between the laws made in a society and its implications. Laws are made, but usually they are broken. So but this proper implication has to be there. And any society which is dependent on laws, which regulates, dependent on laws regulate its behavior. So laws in a basically these laws evolved out of customs, conventions, then the legal judicial power of the state, the concerns of the functioning of the private sector of trade and industry. So all this is very much required. Then there is the customs and conventions are there. They are very important source for framing laws, and of course they differ from region to region depending on which place, maybe hilly regions, coastal regions. So it varies from region to region and country to country, and they are usually these are rooted in the history of the concerned society. So thus for a tourist or a tour operator, it is very much important to know not only the kind of a culture a region has, but also how the institutions of that society have drawn up its creates law for its governance. So environment and Indian state, this is an example I have given you, where this is the Taj Mahal. You can see one of the seven wonders of the world. See the garbage. This is Taj Mahal located in Agra. I told you Delhi, Agra, and Jaipur, they form the circuit. Okay, tourist circuit. So whoever visits Delhi makes it a point to visit Agra, where this Taj Mahal is located, and also visit Jaipur. But see, this is the Taj Mahal, one of the wonders of the world, and the garbage there. So, careful management of visitor flows, and where necessary, application of visitor use controls and natural and cultural destinations to be take place to avoid congestion and environmental deterioration of these places. This is very much necessary. Okay, and maintenance of minimum environmental health and safety standards for both for the tourists as well as the local inhabitants, that is the residents, especially to control environmentally derived diseases from where these diseases occur, and high accident results, rates which result from traffic congestion and badly maintained vehicles, roads, then other hazards and all. And also ensure incorporation of energy conservation techniques into the design of tourist facilities, including solar energy. So there are, groups and all who are fighting for social and environmental justice and all. Yes, it is there. That keeps on going. So this is an important and major source of legislation and jurisdiction. We also have discussed there are sources of acts and laws in tourism. So little bit you should know what are the laws that are existing and all acts and laws. Okay, and the thing is that hiatus, in spite of many legislation and claims of rule of law, a country's legal system ultimately is defined by its institutional context. So, like laws, there people if they need to be displaced, what law has to be implemented. Then there are caste and community rivalries. They also hamper the resettlement of displaced people. Then there are similarly laws which relate to waste, pollution, and tourist flows. So there, you should follow this. So consequently, a great stress is placed on the carrying capacity of an eco niche in spite of existing laws. So summary, we have now seen a gap always there which exists in India between the laws and their implementation and tourism. So a person in such a context has to go through a complicated legal system to work out his or her operations. Okay. Now this is the last unit. I'll try to finish off this. This is about politics of environment. Basically, what do you mean by politics of environment, what are its concerns, and place the environmental movement in a global context, acquire a clue to a possible solution to some of the problems. So any discussion on the politics of environment should be concerned with the ways in which the environment and its relationship with man and development has been looked at. That is very important, and especially environmental fragility, which implies a real possibility of the natural resources being depleted, and the need for conserving it have now emerged as a incontestable fact. Also, the environment the indispensability not just for itself but also for the human survival has established as an act of human existence. So you can say, in other words, protection of the environment, it is not only seen as a virtue but it is seen as a necessity. That is very important. So conservation of the nature of the environment, it is been seen as not a virtue but it is seen as a necessity. Now we have to conserve because there is always, we should always try and attempt to understand the relationship between environment and development, and we need to concentrate on different kinds of political perspectives around the question of environment. Okay, so these are environment issues like global warming, loss of tropical rainforest, acid rains, destruction of the planet's ozone layer, atmospheric pollution. So the spectrum of the politics of environment basically represent combination of consensus and divergence and encompass both these dimensions, social, economic dimension. So all of us need a require a healthy environment with wildlife, beaches, rivers, mountains, wetlands blooming, okay, for the development of a flourishing tourism. And it is therefore, because it is the environment is our, so we should ensure that we would not, we should protect it, we should conserve it, and there is always a debate going on. But yes, the decision makers in the tourism industry must acquire environmental awareness. there should be proper sensitization, and it should be familiar with the working of the ecosystem. Okay, that is what is very important. So environmental laws and environmental regulations should be respected by the tourism industry, and it is only then that the world of tourism as well as the world of environment can be supportive of each other by feeding into each other. So, tourism can serve as an important instrument in the preservation of environment, that we know, but we need to practice. And it can be an arena where the seemingly incompatible positions of development and environment can converge, and it is a tool of development, but it should not be destroyed. It should not be. It should be protected from the negative impact. Okay, that is what is very important. And there is always, when we say politics of environment, there is one side the environment, the other side is the development. So there is environment versus development. There are different movements also, by different government organizations, NGOs, non-government organizations, to protect the environment. Means different types of movements had occurred to protect the environment. No, so these are very important issues which has to be handled very smoothly, with the government to come in place and handle this situation. Okay, so I hopefully so this is I believe that you have become familiar with the political perspectives, and it also importance how environment degradation should be avoided, and we understand that it is always development, as well as it's not only environment development, it is environment development through tourism. Okay, that is what it matters. So it is very an essence of the debate between the environmentalists and the proponents of development, always a challenging issue which should be handled with very care. I think yes. So this was my today's we discussed, and I hopefully if you have any queries or anything, you can tell me. Yes, Kabiru Ahmad, you have any questions? And hopefully you understood
Uh,
through the videos I have. Yes, tell me. Huh.
Thank you, ma'am, for
Tell me,
the
Kabiru.
wonderful presentation. It's
Thank you so much.
really unfortunate that I have seen that kind of picture. That I mean,
Hmm,
the picture of that Taj Mahal, and
hmm,
beside I have seen some, I can
hmm,
say, this purse, waste product. I mean, beside.
hmm,
I think
hmm,
that's why it is essential
hmm.
to provide some steps to ensure proper
Hmm,
utilization of the site without destroying their original characteristics.
hmm, hmm, hmm.
So that's why I
You know
suggest,
why I showed
I don't
you?
know if I
Hmm,
can say this, but
hmm.
there should be some
Yes,
educational
yes.
initiatives that we can put in a place to raise awareness among both
That's there
tourists and
going
local
on.
residents.
Hmm. Yes, that's there. Hmm.
Yes, for the proper for the betterment of the tourist site, I mean.
Hmm. It's in process but not fully done, because what happens, I'm just telling you, those who belong to the rural areas and all, they are not that much educated, but now the government has taken lot of initiatives, especially I'm telling you, the hotel management colleges, they go to the villages, they take up a project like that, the faculties, they go to the those areas, and they try to sensitize those. Now these localites, they don't know the English language, they don't know the Hindi, our language, they we have to communicate with the local language. So only it is possible. So education is also very important. Of course they are, some are very very because at times it becomes very stagnant also, and they also not ready to compromise also. That is also there. Some villages are not ready to compromise. So it is a tough job. You can say it's a challenging, but yes, it may be a challenging one, but slowly it's I mean moving ahead, you can say. Awareness is very
Yes, ma'am.
important.
It is very essential. Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
Because from
That's
the
important.
assignment you gave us last week, yeah, from the assignment you gave us
Mm.
last week,
Mm.
number one
Yes,
on
yes,
my
I
list
gave you. I
is
remember.
concerning the research and
Mm.
education.
You have
Yeah,
tried to
the
identify.
research and education. Before
Mm.
visiting site,
Okay.
one should
Mm.
conduct thorough research. Yes, of course. One need to, conduct true research to understand its cultural and environmental significance. It is very essential.
Very good. Yeah, what are the, you identify the areas, but you need to know the loopholes of that particular area. Then only you can, if you are able to find out the loopholes, identify the loopholes, then you can work on those areas. Now a place which, if you stay at a place 100 kilometers from that particular area, it won't be feasible for you to, accessibility is difficult. So you should, there are organizations who are involved with all these activities. So you should try to find out those organizations. You should put forth your suggestions to them. Then not only putting the suggestions, you should meet the local ministers and all, how to you can assist them. So these are few of the where you need to and I would suggest you just go through all these videos and all. Then you'll come to know. I have just shown you this, the Taj Mahal, one of the seven wonders of the world, and beside that river Yamuna is there. It was full of filthy garbage, full of filthy garbage, you understand. But what happened now, the government took an initiative to clean that garbage. Now that Yamuna river is looking on now, because beside a beautiful, one of the seven wonders of the world, a river is there, and it is full of filth and garbage. What would be the impression of we Indians know, but what about foreigners like you coming and oh, this looks beautiful, and beside that there is so much garbage, and garbage is produced by whom? By you and me only. They're throwing the garbage here and there without proper disposal of trash. So education is very important. Very good that you identified. Very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anything else? Anything else, Kabiru, you want to add?
No, ma'am. Because I have seen it is already time, so I don't think I can say something.
Mm-hmm. No, it's good. But maybe we will have the class again on day after tomorrow. So tomorrow is a holiday, and you try to watch some videos. You can watch it on YouTube. Okay, so you'll have an idea. Okay, that is very important,
Okay,
right?
ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I wish you all the best, Kabiru, Ahmed. Um,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kabiru, and
I
thank you,
hope
Abiru.
I hope
So
you have
enjoy
a
your holiday.
I
Hmm.
hope you have a wonderful holiday, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, okay, okay. Take care. Bye. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.